gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Weekly Mag. Today we dedicate our show to the Circus. Join our chat about Circus with the artist Yldor Llach and Xarxa manager Teresa Iglesias and watch of Yldor's breathtaking performances. Enjoy the blues music of the singer-songwriter David Phillips. Marvel at our Guess What quiz about Rome, the greatest circus in history. Coming the 10 of the Weekly Mag, your TV show in English, hosted by Marcela Topor.
Today we have decided to go into the world of circus. What lies behind the most astounding acts and performances? We'll talk with two people that have a first-hand knowledge about it. But before, let's check out some of the words that will come up in the interview.
Circus is today's topic, and that's why we start a glossary with one of its many disciplines. The cradle is a type of aerial circus act in which a performer swings, tosses and catches another performer, also known as a flyer. Now let's have a look at a phrasal verb, to stand for. The ideas or attitudes that someone or something stands for are the ones that they support or represent. Circus, theater and other arts require a venue so that the audience can see the performance. A venue is a place where an event takes place. Of course, if you organize an event, you want to gather lots of people. If people gather somewhere, they come together in a group. If you gather things, you collect them together.
Today we have with us the Vice President of the APCC, the Professional Association of Circus of Catalonia, Teresa Iglesias, and we have also invited the professional performing circus artist Yldor Llach. Well, Teresa and Yldor, welcome. And we start with Yldor. You are specialized in many things. Let's mention just a few: artistic bicycle, Russian cradle, hand-to-hand, and surwheel. So, can you explain us what these specialities are?
Well, starting with the bicycle, which is the specialty I like the most, it's an individual art. Mostly individual. Of course, you can play with more people, but it starts by being an individual art that allows me to open my world of possibilities, dancing or theater or whatever. I can put it on the bicycle.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we have it here.
Yeah, can't stop looking at it. It's so beautiful.
It's special, no? It's a special bike, of course.
Very special. It's a very special bike. It's not made for circus, but for a German sport called Kunstradfahren in German, which is in English artistic cycling.
Okay.
And so into circus it works very well because there is all these set rules of how to learn and how to do some acrobatics on the bicycle, and for circus it works very well. Mm-hmm. Then the other disciplines are...
Yes. Some of them sound quite strange to me, so they need some explanation. For example, I don't know, Russian cradle, surwheel.
Russian cradle. Well, cradle is for structure, so it's a 4-meter high structure where I can stand on it and I work with a partner, can be a boy or a girl. Usually it's lighter than me, so I can throw this person up in the air. Then the person does some acrobatics and I catch.
Later, no?
If everything goes right, I catch again. If not, there are mattresses, so we work on safety.
It's safe.
Yeah. Mm. For me, yes, I'm attached. For the flyer, the person on the air, sometimes there can be some risk, but this is what we like.
Pretty amazing. Well, let me ask Teresa about this world of Circle and the association. You are a cultural manager and you represent the main Catalan association dedicated to circus. So what do we actually understand by circus? No? And what is the role of this association?
Well, the APCC it's a professional association of professionals who work around the circus, not only artists, of course, because it's the majority of our associates, but we also have managers, scenographers, technicians, other kind of professionals, and we work to promote and spread the circus around the Catalan territory, always with a cultural, social and economical point of view, because we need it to grow and to that it reaches all these towns, cities of Catalonia. Although we work a lot as well in a national point of view, but as well international, because it's one of our escapes, let's say, nowadays. And by circus, I would say it's a performative art, of course. It's done by a big bunch of course, circus artists. And as I told you before, we have as well scenographers, artistic directors, managers, technicians. It's a big world.
Catalan Circus, yes, it needs to be more known, maybe, no? And maybe it should be stopped from being considered like the small, like the brother of theater, for example, no? But we have here Yldor today, an amazing artist, which, I mean, you've met before, of course.
A few times.
A few times,
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Many times. You worked together. What do you think of Yldor as an artist?
Well, it's a difficult question. I think he represents the hard work. We always talk, when we talk about circus, we always think about working very hard and working many hours, and it's true. It's not only that you work like 4, 6, 7 hours from Monday to Friday, and then the weekends you rest. He is someone who has investigated and has gone through several disciplines. Like you told before, it's not only acrobatic bicycle, but as well he has discovered other disciplines, other techniques. I know he's now going through another discipline that he's working on, and I think it's one of the main characteristics of circus artists, that someone who's always looking for something else to go a little bit further and to learn, and this research capacity or ability that he has and other circus artists have, I think is maybe one of the main points I would
It's amazing,
remark.
this mixture of talent, of course, but obviously discipline, a lot of discipline, no? And a lot of mixed with risk as well, no? So how do you prepare for your performances?
Risk is a very common word used when we define circus, and it's relative, because when you invest so many hours and so much training, we do it, or at least I do it, to decrease the risk. So once that I am on the stage, the risk is minimal. So the audience will believe that there is risk, but there is no more risk than you walking in a new street that you have never walked before. Special preparation for this? No, I think it's a result of discipline, of investing yourself in a passion at the beginning, and then when it becomes a work, if you enjoy investing hours. And
How many hours a day? It depends, I know, but
I would almost say all day long.
average.
I would say all day long, because when I'm not physically training, then I have to work on my computer, to work on my website, to work on my management, of selling myself around.
You studied abroad, is that correct? You studied in Montreal?
In Montreal.
Okay. Why did you go to study abroad? And not, why didn't you stay here in Catalonia?
I was ignorant. I didn't know I could study circus here. I didn't know I could study circus, first of all. And it was after watching a very good show here in Barcelona that I started Googling how can you become a circus artist. And the first thing I got was the National Circus School of Montreal, which it's really good, but I wouldn't say it's the school where you have to go to study for sure. In Barcelona, in Spain, and in Europe, there is many good schools. You don't need to go across the Atlantic Sea.
What would you say is about the Catalan tradition of circus, Teresa?
Well, it started many years ago, and the beginning of it was several individuals starting experimenting and researching about different disciplines on circus. And I don't know if you know Ateneu Popular de Nou Barris.
Of course.
This was a key point where circus started in Barcelona, and then it spread it out around the territory.
And then it started to develop more and more. What is the current situation, the present situation of circus in Catalonia, according to you?
I think in the last 10 years, it has grown up quite a lot in terms of audience and reaching as well the media and other social aspects, let's say. But I think it's still not known, and people, when you talk about circus and you go to the street and you ask someone, this person probably will go about, oh yes, I know that clown, or I know that artist specifically, but about the contemporary circus that we are working on, and I think it's still unknown, and we have to work very hard.
What is La Central del Cirque?
La Central is a center of creation, training, and you have different programs for training. You have one of the best and one of the biggest spaces for training, for artist training. And then you have several spaces where you have created your own show, no matter in which stage your show is. I mean, sometimes when we think about circus or production, we think about the end of the process, where you have to train a lot, because you have everything on place, and then you have to rehearse, and you have to,
of course,
and you have to present it.
Okay, and you need a venue where to do all that, and it's here in Barcelona. It's located in Barcelona.
Yeah, it's in a forum.
At the Forum.
Forum de Barcelona.
Okay.
And I invite you to go and to know it, because it's a very, very nice place to go.
And apart from Barcelona, are there other places in Catalonia where people who are interested in circus can go and have access to this training?
Yeah,
indeed.
Are there venues?
There is many kind of.
Like, for example?
For example, in Mataró there is this space called Cronopis. It's very similar to La Central. It works much more as a self-organized venue, self-organized institution by the users, and it works very well. It's pretty comfortable to go there.
Okay, in Mataró?
In Mataró. But in Barcelona there is many places.
Yeah.
Some old artists that they decide to establish here. They adapt. They take a space and they adapt it as a training place where you can go.
Are there enough festivals in Catalonia dedicated to circus? Which ones are the most important?
Well, not really. We all know Trapezi. Maybe it's one of the most popular ones. But then you have others in other villages like Hospitalet de Llobregat, Teresa, Vilanova i la Geltrú. You have some others around the territory. But of course, we have to work on that, and we have to work with the media and the public administration to make all these festivals go to any kind of audience.
Okay. Excellent. Well, we'll continue this conversation a bit later. I think we are getting a really, really interesting glimpse into the backstage of circus today. Now, how many different circus artists or entertainers do you know? Now, pay attention to our particular ringmaster, Helen Armstrong, because she's going to teach you the names of a few of them.
Hi, the circus is in town, so let's talk about the types of entertainers we can see there. So first of all, we have the jugglers, who are those people who can throw and catch many different items all at one time. And they're amazing, but so are the acrobats. These are people who are experts with balance and strength and agility, and quite often they use a trapeze, which is a very, very high up swing that they sort of jump off and catch each other. Also with balance, we have those tightrope walkers. Now, these are people that walk along a very, very, very thin line very high up. You have to be careful they don't fall off. Now, also at the circus, we can see contortionists. These are people that move and stretch their bodies in things we can't even imagine, and normally they can get into very, very small spaces. Now, also there are some quite dangerous looking acts, like the knife throwers, who throw these huge big knives from very long distances, usually at people, and they miss them by just a centimetre or something. Also, we have the sword swallowers, who have very large swords that they put down to their stomachs through their throats. And also fire eaters, which do the same thing, but with a sword or something on fire. Now, another dangerous act could be those tamers. So we have people that work with animals in a circus, and quite often we have someone like a lion tamer who might put their head in a lion's mouth, possibly not checking for tooth decay. So we've got many different acts there at the circus, and if you want to see more, go and enjoy.
We are having a fascinating chat about circus today with Teresa Iglesias from the Professionals Association of Circus of Catalonia and the circus artist Yldor Llach. Well, and let's welcome now our collaborator Joan Cama, who is going to talk to us about some stunning performances. Joan.
Hi, thanks
Welcome.
for having me back on the show. Well, today I'm here to talk about equilibrium, okay? Because as one of the most famous philosophers of the history said, balance is the best point in life between too much and too many. That's why today I've brought you some funny examples, okay, of worldwide records set by people who probably trained so hard to do that as you train, okay? Do you feel like playing with me?
Go on.
All right.
Okay, let's go. I will start telling you a story, okay, and you will have to guess the end, okay? Here's an example. I'm not sure if anyone here has ever auditioned to be a supermodel. Have you? No supermodels here? Okay.
Not yet.
The thing is that one of the first lessons that you're taught in supermodeling school is to walk straight on with your head up, okay? And how do you practice that? Obviously, by putting a book on your head, okay? So something like this. Well, with this book it's pretty easy. I mean,
It's easy,
do
no?
you want to try?
Hilda, wanna
Okay,
try?
yeah, you
I
should
think
try.
you should give
No.
them,
Yeah, look.
give him all the books.
Let's guess, how many stairs do you think you could climb with a book on your head?
As many as I can be tired.
Could you?
2,000.
2,000, okay. What
Wow.
about you?
Go more.
No more. No way. I know, without the book falling and everything, I'd say 20, 25 stairs.
Okay, so Xarxa Furman from the US, okay, he ran up 122 steps. He did it with a book that weighed like 3.5 kilos, which is more than that, and he ran up 3 separate flights of stairs in the New York City subway. He did that on October 2009. And just to let you know, he's a huge superstar in the record world because he has more than 600 official records and he currently holds 2026. Okay, let's change the object, but not the record, okay? But because what if instead of books, we try to balance drink cans on our
Empty,
heads?
empty. Of
We will try it with empty drink cans, okay? But I think that the man who broke the record did it with full drink
Okay.
cans, okay? How many cans do you think you can balance on your head? As you can see, I only brought 3 of them because I'm not really optimistic about it, okay?
In one go, you mean?
Do you want to? You should try. Do you
Put
want
them
to try?
on top of your
Oh,
head.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll be pretty bad with that.
Try it with one.
Venga, Teresa. Molt bé.
Okay, that's fine. But
You're doing a great job.
without working, right?
Yeah, you can stay
Still.
still, yeah. Not easy, right?
It's quite difficult, right? Yeah. No way.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
Pretty
it's easier
complicated.
with full drinking cans.
Maybe.
I don't
possible.
know. We should. I don't even want to try, I guess. Okay, I think I will try it this way.
Maybe with,
Okay.
with gel is easier. She has no gel.
Okay, maybe the gel is the answer. Okay, so can you guess how many drink cans did?
Oops.
Okay, I
Okay.
didn't do that. Can you guess how many drink cans did John Evans from the UK balance on his head to break the record? Just say a number.
4.
4?
No,
not
more than
4.
that. I would say
Not
more
4.
than that.
The total weight that he had to stand on his head was 173 kilos.
Wow.
How many drink cans do you think he had?
One on the other.
Yeah. You can see
You
like
can,
something,
you can
something like
look at
that.
the projection.
It's kind of a building.
Yeah, but well, okay. It's not one on the other, so you
tricky.
No,
you don't really have to
it's
balance
not
the can.
just like a column. No.
And it's
And
already
also
something
he has
like
this
that.
kind of a platform, no?
Yeah. Maybe it's easier that way. We can try it with a book and drinking cans. Okay. Okay, just say a number.
Let's leave it. Yeah.
many of them. 360 cans.
More?
400, 415.
A
Not
little bit
close.
more.
Hot.
429.
Wow.
That's a lot. Let's just hope he didn't drink them all. And if he did, cheers to him. And last but not least, I'm not going to try to recreate or make you recreate this last record because I think we don't want to break our noses or something like that, okay? Instead, I brought you some images, okay, of the record.
Sounds good.
There's a large staircase in front of the Girona Cathedral, okay? And a couple of Peruvian equilibrists broke the record, okay? So they climbed a lot of stairs in less than a minute. How many stairs do you think that they climbed in less than a minute, head by head?
I don't know, 30,
Yes.
50?
67.
More than that.
More than that, 100?
You're close.
Not-
Not
Yeah,
this
very
close.
close. 99.
Oh,
99
amazing.
stairs in 53 seconds. They broke the record that two Vietnamese equilibrists had set 2 years before that in the same place. That's incredible because I mean it's so sad that I cannot even stand on one foot for a minute. How long can you stand on your foot? How long?
5 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But may I ask, because being able to do such skill
Yeah.
doesn't justify you are circusing that skill. It's not the skill that makes you an artist, but how you treat it.
Actually, that's a very good point. So what is circus?
What is circus?
I think it's a mixture.
Because you said that's not circus. What is circus?
I think it's a mixture of many things and different things. As Yldor says, you need to train your skills, but you have to focus on something.
How she started, for me, it's perfect. When they ask me what's circus, for me, it's a mixture. It's a mix of things. Now, usually nowadays, when you see circus, one thing that is mostly present is acrobatics.
Okay.
So that circus need to have acrobatics now. But if acrobatics are mixed with something else, it becomes circus. Now, circus started when it started back in the time. It was the art of the poor people of the town. Dancing and theater was more for high class, what we call high class,
I see.
and it was very much separated. Now, it started like this. Everybody could do it. There was not a lot of interest by the high class to support this art because they already doing by themselves. And then the interesting things of nowadays, when we call it contemporary circus, is when circus drinks out of these other high class arts, like dancing or theater, and we mix it. So now this mixture is contemporary circus is what we, I believe, stand for, and we invest time on. Trying to change the idea of this traditional circus where we may not like to be involved very much.
I see.
If you have a very good skill, like good balance, but you are not a good entertainer, can you be a circus performer? Is that the same, it has the same importance?
You can be a circus performer, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
In the moment that someone is directing you, like someone who wants to do a show and sees your skills and directs you and shows you how to be on stage and what's the way and how to explode your skill, then yeah, you became an artist.
The riskiest or the most dangerous performance you've ever done?
The most dangerous performance is on the discipline I was telling you before, Russian cradle, where I throw a girl 5, 6, 7 meters up in the air. And well, dangerous for her mostly. Me, I also have some risk, but we share the risk, so I would say for her is the most dangerous thing. During 5 minutes, there is non-stop throwing up in the air and catching again.
So you have a great responsibility there.
I do have a great responsibility, I assume it, and what I like the most is the confidence, the trust that the other person have on me. I really appreciate it, and that fits me a lot.
Like the complicity, no?
Yeah.
That's great. Well, no doubt these acrobatic feats take a huge amount of training, concentration and ability. And now we'll take a 3-minute break, after which we'll introduce you to the Palestinian Circus School and we'll have our mystery question as well. Stay tuned.
There's no show about circus without a performance. Stay tuned for the stunning balance act of Yldor Llach.
Welcome back. We are talking about circus with the artist Yldor Llach, the cultural manager Teresa Iglesias and our collaborator Xarxa. And I like to talk now about social commitment. So, what is social circus? Have you ever been involved in a circus show with social commitment projects?
Yeah, social circus is based originally in approaching this art to the people who maybe don't have the economical resources to go to the theater or to go to a space, a public space, and pay for it. But it has developed in the last year, so it has become something very, let's say, more touchy to the people who receive it, above all going through schools, public schools with teenagers.
And there are examples of companies here, not Catalan companies, who do this activity. For example, we have Payasos Sense Fronteras and others, no?
Yeah. And
yeah, as the name says, social circus, and Teresa was saying, is to approach it to everybody. So those who can afford it and those who cannot. Not only those who cannot. We all know social circus. When we are walking around and we see a performer in the street, this is social circus, because anyone can walk in the street and anyone can see that show. So that's social circus. Now, when we want to organize it a little bit better and we create an association that will generate these shows for the city council, for a kind of a party, for a festival, so they will gather, usually for free or for a very low price, they will gather people from all around to enjoy these shows.
And with a very good purpose, indeed. Well, I brought this subject because this is the case of the protagonists of today's portrait section. Circus can also be a tool to overcome differences. That is the main goal of the Palestinian Circus School, which is a non-profit organization which has been teaching circus in Palestine for 13 years now. They've traveled to Barcelona for a show and we paid them a visit. Don't miss the following video.
It's Marah.
My name is Mohammed.
From the Palestinian Circus School. The idea of the Palestinian Circus School started with a dream of a Palestinian guy named Shadi Zumurrad. It was a dream of him making something really special in Palestine to give Palestinians something from the Palestinians. They started training, and then after a while they started doing capacity buildings with the people from Belgium. And the idea started with a small show. Yani step by step it becomes like a circus school. Every year we teach almost 250 people and 2 groups of children with disabilities, intellectual disabilities. And now we have 2 departments, one artistic and one education. The artistic department produces shows, and the other part is education. We give classes and courses weekly to different places in the West Bank.
I'm from Jenin. It's north of the West Bank, north of Palestine. In 2008, I was volunteering in a place for youth, and one day they came and they told us there's 2 guys from the circus school in Ramallah. They want to come here to show you some juggling balls and acrobat. If you are interested, it's a workshop for 3 months. We say why not? We have nothing to do actually. Like in Jenin, it's there's no place to play. There's no always in the streets. There's nothing special for youth or for children to play. After this, we really like the circus school. We really like circus, and we start following up with the circus school. And And after this, in 2010, we had a workshop for TOT, it's training of trainer. And after we start full-time working with the circus school, I felt how much circus changed me and changed my personality. Before circus, I was really a different guy, like a guy who don't care, a guy who don't trust anyone.
For me, when I started circus, I was living in Ramallah. I'm really far from the clashes and all the things. But when I started going to the circus, there were people from Jenin, from northern part, southern part, who are really have different culture, different backgrounds. And it was really interesting for me. Every time I go, it started to be it's not a hobby anymore. I want to learn more, not only circus, but there's lots of things that I want to learn, to hear stories of others. And then it became one of my priorities in life. Even from school, I go from school directly to the circus. So I feel like I express what's inside of me, inside of the circus, without being judged from anyone around, which is why I became a trainer, just for giving all of these experience I had taken before to the kids, like trust, team building, equality. And it's really important when you see the kids, how they look up to you when you give them these things and they want a better future, and you see the passion.
You feel that they are learning something, they have something now, they can share it.
You give them hope, like they are able to do something and they are able to change. Even if they stand on the stilts, you give them the confidence of that I can do this. And then they might change their minds in different ways, like I did and like Hamad did and like any other person, because art is something that you give from the heart.
And also in the circus school, it's a place where you feel you are free, actually. Like it's a tent, but it's inside the tent, it's a big world.
All the team in the circus school used to be like students, and the summer camps are intensively workshops. And we had our relationship, we built the family because of the summer camps, because you spend 2 weeks or 1 week intensively seeing each other, talking to each other, eating with each other. Sometimes we used to camp as well. So you're living with your family. So this is what we build. This is the family that we're building for the future.
So, did you know this company? What do you think of it, Teresa?
I think they do an amazing job, actually. And I was listening to the video, and they talk about team building and being a family. And I think one of the bases of the circus.
A great
indeed.
example of social circus.
Yeah,
no?
indeed. Yeah, it's social circus is just about building something in a collaborative way. I think this is one of the main points, and then working together and about the team building is key for everyone involved in a social project.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we've been through we are at the end of this interview, and we have here Mark Broderick with a mystery question.
I've appeared
Hello,
out of
Mark.
nowhere. Surprise! Magic.
Magic, exactly.
Yes. I consider myself a bit of a clown, but they've never accepted me into the circus. But I have had enough time to prepare some questions for this week. So basically, here you have a little bowl of questions. Okay, you don't need to just put your hand inside and pick out the one that attracts you the most. Open it up, read it out, and then answer it as truthfully as you want. Okay. You too, sir. Can I ask you a question? Do you bring that bicycle everywhere? Like, do you bike it around, or is it just specifically for your act?
It's specifically for the act.
Okay,
yes.
but you have another set of bicycles, I suppose.
I have many other bicycles for many other purposes.
I can imagine. And you, Juan, go for it. Yeah,
Should
grab
I?
one. Absolutely. Why not?
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
I am actually.
Yeah, don't worry. Okay, so would you like to read out your first question?
What is the meanest thing you have done in your life?
The meanest.
The meanest.
You don't look like a mean person.
No, I'm not.
No, you don't have that mean face. So maybe you have to think hard.
I don't know.
Now that I remember.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I don't know. I don't know.
Wait a second then. Why don't you think about it for a minute and let this gentleman have a go?
My question says, what is something you look forward to when I retire? When I retire, well, it's hard to retire from your passion.
That's true.
I hope I will always find a way to do it. Maybe not to get money, so not to gain my life, but I will always find a way to perform. And I still remember my teacher in Montreal, when he was 65 years old, he was still doing shows on the bicycle when he could, not many, not 2 a day, but
Yeah.
he was still performing, and maybe he couldn't do all acrobatics, but there was always this little adaptation, this little something he could do, and the poetry of this old body on the bicycle for me was like, okay, very nice.
Well, I hope when I'm old enough and I can see you doing these tricks at an 85-year-old man, I think that would be quite spectacular. All right, Joan.
Yeah, my question says, if you could change, which country would you live in? I would live in Croatia. And why? Because it has amazing beaches.
Croatia? Really?
Croatia.
Of all of the places in the world?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
And
fair enough,
because
fair
it
enough.
is good circus, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, definitely.
And
Yeah.
that's where Game of Thrones was shot. Oh, yeah, that's as well.
Oh my gosh.
So now you've had a little bit of time to think. I'm sure you was a moment in your life you were mean.
Oh no, really.
When you were a small child, when you were a teenager, were you mean to the other kids? No?
I can't think of anything.
That's okay.
particular. I'm
Well,
sorry.
It's okay
I'm
if you
sorry
can't.
to disappoint you.
It's nice to have somebody on the show that's not mean. I'm joking.
Okay. Well, Yldor, in a moment we'll enjoy your performance. So what are you going to do today with your bike?
I'm going to dance with it. I'm going to dance swing to the rhythm of swing music with a rock and roll song, so I'm a little bit confused. But it's a rock and roll song, and I dance with the artistic cycling swing. I put together all these swing steps with the tricks I can do on the bicycle, try to compress it all in a number interesting enough for you to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm sure we
Yeah,
will.
looking forward to that.
Joan, you had something to ask Yldor before we go?
Sure, because working on a circus was socially not considered as a good profession some years ago, back in the past. I'm not sure if nowadays people still see circus entertainment people as that kind of people. Are you well considered socially?
That kind of people. I consider myself that kind of people, yeah. I consider myself well considered, yeah, depending on where you go. We were saying that circus is this huge world, this huge, there is many possibilities in circus. So as a big world, you can find anything inside there. You can see good circus, you can see bad circus, you can find a good job, a dignifying job. You can also find a cheap or degrading job. So it's up to you, and as in any case, you have to find your own way. You choose your ways. You choose which show you want to work on. If you want to be in the big industry of circus, there is big shows. If you want to be valued as your own artist, you find more small productions. We are not limited at all. What you want to do, you go for it.
I think that's good. That's a very good way to wrap up the show. It's a very good and positive conclusion. Teresa and Yldor, thank you so much for coming to the Weekly Mag today. And Joan, thank you, of course. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you for bringing us these stunning world records about circus.
If you want, I can dance with a book on my head now. Whatever.
Of course, maybe next time.
Okay, we can try. Okay.
Like this, you have more time to practice.
Yeah. It will
Okay.
be better.
And Mark, I'll see you in a bit with Matthew.
No problem, that's fine.
While Yldor Llach gets ready to perform, let's go to our second language tip. You don't need to be an expert in circus to use some expressions and idioms related to it. And if you want to improve your language with these phrases, please check out what our teacher Tim Wari has to say.
So, we've got some expressions related to the circus that we can also use in other situations. Now, who's the most important person in the circus? That person is the ringleader. So this is the person, normally you see him with a big hat, maybe with a whip, who's directing all of the circus. We can use this expression to call someone the ringleader in some situations. For example, if you have a group of children who are behaving badly in class, normally one of them is the ringleader, the leader, the one who's telling everyone what to do. And normally if you send that kid out of class, the problems will calm down a little bit, I find. What else do we find in circuses? We also find elephants. So another expression is the elephant in the room. So this is where there's a big, obvious problem that everybody knows about, but everybody avoids talking about it. It's the elephant in the room. Other animals we have in circuses are lions. So we have the expression, the lion's den. And this means a very dangerous place or situation. So for some people, going into your manager's office to ask for a pay rise, you could be saying you're entering the lion's den, a dangerous place. Now, teaching children can be chaotic sometimes because they like to monkey around. Okay, so this means they like to mess around, they like to play, they like to throw things, just like monkeys in a circus or in a zoo. We also get to see acrobats in the circus, and sometimes acrobats have to walk a tightrope, okay, when they're doing this. Funambulists walking a tightrope. This expression can mean when you're in a very difficult situation, okay? Maybe you're trying to keep a big group of people happy at the same time. This can be very difficult. You're walking a tightrope. It's a difficult balance. Another similar expression is a juggling act, or to perform a juggling act. So this is when you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 different jobs all at the same time. Imagine trying to keep all the balls in the air like you're a juggler in a circus. So that's the end of our expressions for the circus. I'm off to the circus right now with my niece and nephew. Why don't you join me?
When did the most spectacular and terrifying shows take place in history? Exactly. Prepare for today's Guess What quiz about the greatest circus in history.
One for the money, one for the show. Play the game, range it out, go get go, but don't you step on the big switch shoes. You gotta do anything, but don't step on the big switch shoes. I say blue, blue suede shoes. Blue, blue suede shoes. Blue, blue suede shoes. Blue suede shoes. You gotta do anything, but don't step on the blue suede shoes. Don't do it, man. My face, slander my name all over the place. Anything that you wanna do, oh, honey, help my shoes, but don't you step on the big straight shoes. You gotta do anything, but don't step on Rocky's shoes. Come on the bass, Rocky now. My house, leave my car, drink my whiskey from my old fruit jar. Do the thing that you wanna do. Oh, honey, off my shoes, but don't you step on the big straight shoes. You gotta do the thing, but don't step on all my brother's shoes. Rats, come on now. Blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes. You gotta do anything, but don't step on the blue suede shoes.
The Weekly Mag goes on with the competition and more fun. It's time, of course, for Guess What? With two great language acrobats, Mario Serra and Patricia Scalona. Hello.
Hello.
And, of course, our fabulous, marvelous quizmaster, Sergi Salvera, who's always up to juggling questions or jokes. Welcome, Sergi.
Hi, Marcella.
And over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, my dear contestants. Today is a day for our inspiring feats and jaw-dropping performances. Today is Circus Day. And today we will dedicate our quiz to the most spectacular circus in history, ancient Rome. I expect you to have a vast and deep knowledge on Roman culture, or that at least for you to have watched at least 10 minutes of Gladiator. Have you?
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Up to 8 minutes.
We need you now to go and watch the two final minutes of Gladiator and then to come back.
I remember the line that he said at some point, I come from the lands of Trujillo. That struck me as very funny.
Trujillo is in Rome.
We can,
Really, I come
we
from
can
the lands of
consider
Trujillo.
we can consider that as Roman knowledge.
Good.
Exactly.
Well, we can speak Romanic languages
Romantic
as well.
language.
Yeah.
We will see, but first we will warm up with the multiple choice challenge. First question, which of the following situations took place at the Colosseum? Get ready?
Yeah.
A. Emperor Titus had the Colosseum flooded to reenact famous naval battles. B. Emperor Nero made soldiers come out in the arena and start shooting arrows at the audience. Or C. Emperor Commodus organized cooking contests with the slaughtered beasts.
A.
And Marius?
A.
A. That's right. Point for both. Yes, Emperor Titus had the Colosseum flooded to reenact famous naval battles. All right.
We've done the tour at the Colosseum, right?
Yeah.
When we went to Rome, we both
So
did the
you both
tour.
took the same tour. Actually, the inaugural games included mock naval battles for which the arena was actually flooded.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1 point for both.
Exactly. And now let's go for the second question. Only one of the following facts about gladiators is false.
Only one is false.
Exactly. One false.
Okay.
Which one is that one? A. A few of the gladiators in ancient Rome were females. B. Gladiators were mostly vegetarians. And C. All gladiators were slaves or prisoners. Which one is the false one?
It's a tricky question.
They were vegetarian?
I think you want us to think that no women
We want
were
you
there.
to think. That's a
I'm
thing
gonna
that we
say
want.
they were
Okay.
vegetarian.
So which one is the false one?
Which one?
Is the false?
Exactly.
I'm gonna say
Final
they were
countdown?
vegetarians.
Vegetarians.
Yeah,
And for you?
No vegetarians at that time.
No vegetarians. So
No
your
vegetarians.
pick is a few
B.
of the B.
B is false.
Gladiators were mostly vegetarians.
Yeah.
All right. That's incorrect.
was what?
Point goes to no one. The right answer is C.
Oh
Many
my God.
gladiators were slaves, but not all of them. It was a tricky question indeed. Some gladiators
I thought that.
some gladiators were free people, and you know how they were convinced to risk their lives, that remains in mystery.
The score is the same, 1 point for Marius, 1 point for Patricia, and we continue with the following question.
Exactly. Chariot races were one of the most popular games of ancient Rome, but how many people could attend the chariot races at the Circus Maximus? Option A, 50,000 people standing. B, 250,000 people sitting. C, nobody knows. There are not enough Roman numbers for so many people.
250. No, I would say A. I would say 50,000
people standing.
Yeah.
And you?
Me too, because it's impossible. 250,000 people sitting.
All right.
In Tarragona, there were 30,000, so in Rome, 50,000.
So let's check the right answer.
Yeah.
The right answer was B. So point goes to no one.
my God.
Yes, So listen to that, 250,000 people could attend the games, more than double of any stadium nowadays.
Maracanã?
More than double any stadium nowadays. It's absolutely
Crazy.
madness. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, so let's go over the score, which is the same. 1 point for Marius, 1 point for Patricia. And let's go to the following challenge.
Exactly. Now for the second challenge, see your bells on the table? Well, that's the only thing you're going to do with them for now.
And there we
Because
go.
we are going to play a mysterious game called Chan Chan, True or False. I know, Marcella is going to read out a fact about Rome, and then you use those signs to say if it's true or if it's false.
And you know, Sergi, when in Rome, they say when in Rome, do as the Romans do, so why don't you put this on?
Exactly.
You do realize you're no Caesar, right?
Hold on. Because
it's
you
our
don't
Caesar in any
you
case.
actually don't know that, and I should recommend you to be more careful in that subject.
Are you gonna
All
kill me now?
No, I'm gonna define if it's true or if it's
Okay.
true or if it's false. like
Thumb up
this.
or-
Hold on, I'm asking you for respect to the Caesar, please. My thumbs are going to say if this is true or if this is false.
Okay, I'm ready.
All
Are
right.
you?
Okay.
Here we go.
The Colosseum was built in less than 10 years.
Less than 10 years.
Less than 10 years. True and true. And that is true. The works began in the year 72 and it opened in the year 80.
The Colosseum had special places called vomitoria, where the public affected by the bloody executions could go and throw up.
False and false. And the right answer is false. Absolutely. The vomitoria were the passageways that ran along the entire building and helped with the flow of the spectators.
Like in Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. they are still calling vomitorios right now. Yeah.
Next, the different shows used to follow a certain schedule. Animal fights and hunts would take place in the morning.
And your state is true and true. And the right answer is true. Executions would take place at noon and the gladiators in late afternoon.
Okay, we are halfway through our Guess What quiz. Everything can still change though. We'll take a 3-minute short break now and we'll be right back with the final challenge and the music of David Phillips.
Oh no, I ain't no place I wanna spend too much time.
Who said blues comes from the deep south? This one comes from the UK. Don't miss the American flavor of David Phillips' music on the Weekly Mag.
But it's on the way to somewhere, there ain't no way to pass it by.
We were in the middle of a true or false challenge about Rome. There are still more facts to check. Let's remember, Patricia and Marius, we have a draw today. Well, so far, 4 points each. And let's continue the competition. In the inauguration activities at the Colosseum, which lasted 100 days, almost 1,000 animals were killed.
That is
almost one.
True and true. And the right answer is false.
Whoa.
Actually, according to Roman historians, the number is much higher, closer to 9,000. And as a matter of fact, they even brought some species to extinction.
Bloody
You know
Romans.
that, bloody Romans.
Bloody Romans.
Okay.
Next.
The tickets for the Colosseum shows would cost between 1 and 5 sesterces.
1 and 5 sisters.
Your answer
my
is true and false.
Just for the sake of
The right answer is false. Point to Patricia. Most shows were free to citizens, hence the phrase panem et circenses, bread and circuses.
And the last one. To get a good seat at the Colosseum, you had to queue up for more than 2 days.
True or false? True and false. The right answer is false. Citizens had pottery tickets to know which section, row and seat they should occupy. Point to Marius. We are still even.
We are V to V.
V to V, that's right. The final score for now is this one. So now, time to establish how many points you will get if you win. I was after something grandiose. As a recently appointed emperor, my first whim was to burn the set as I played the lyre tragically, but I only can play the first notes of La Cucaracha on the flute, which kind of, you know, downplays the majesty of the scene.
And you get fired. You play La Cucaracha.
Yeah.
It would indeed, and I think we need both the set and the lives for the show next week.
All right, okay, so instead of this
Try again.
grand finale, exactly, we have prepared for envelopes, 2 each.
Very
So
nice,
pick
colorful.
2. Exactly, colorful.
Yellow and blue.
And blue. And then those are
I'll
yours.
take green and red.
Good.
Oh,
Those are for
okay.
you.
Okay,
Leave
thank you.
them on the table. Each of the envelopes you have picked contains a card with a Roman numeral, and you can save them for now. Later on, we will explain what you can do with them. All right, and now for the challenge of clues. Marcella is reading the clues, and you ring your bell. Now, yes.
To guess what?
To guess what? Exactly.
guess a name.
That
A
is,
name.
if you know the answer. Today, we want you to guess a well-known person from ancient Rome.
Of course.
Bells ready, and Marcella begins reading out the clues.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you, Sergi. So, this famous ancient Roman character was a man. He was 10 years older than Jesus Christ. He was a Roman emperor. During his reign, the Roman Empire began the conquest of Britain. He was Caligula's uncle. He was afflicted by...
oh, damn.
What are we
Who
going
was
to do?
first?
I would say Patricia.
Okay.
But that was tricky. That was really tricky. Don't look at me. I'm just a quiz master.
You are
It's a
the
hard
Caesar.
decision.
You are
I'm
the
the
Caesar,
Caesar. All
remember?
right. That goes to Patricia. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm surprised, actually.
I am as well.
But
yeah.
it was really close. I think
was
it was
really
like
close.
half a second.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm the emperor and I can notice half second.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just guessing here. So, Hadrian?
No!
You see?
Goes to Marius.
Is it Claudius?
Claudius! Well done.
Claudius, exactly.
The clues-
Claudius, he was
Exactly.
afflicted, I was going to say, he was afflicted by a limp, a slight deafness, and he stammered.
Exactly. Claudius, or better said, Tiberius Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus.
I named that.
What a beautiful name. Exactly. What a beautiful name. Huh? So like, come on, Tiberius Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, come here. We want to talk to you. He succeeded Caligula and he preceded Nero. Everyone would seem a nice emperor compared to those guys.
So, Marius and Patricia, let's see how many points you've won. Marius, please, can you open the 2 envelopes and then you sum up the 2 numbers to make a Roman numeral?
10.
So for now, he's having 10 and 5, 15.
Okay, 15 points.
Yep.
Which makes a final score of 20 points for Marius.
So he's the winner.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Allez, Jacques.
And let's see how many points you had in your envelopes, Patricia, just out of curiosity.
She's having 5, but if she would have won the final challenge, she would have added just 3 points. So you are definitely the loser of today's quiz.
You were waiting a
Just
long time
wanted
to
to
say that,
point out.
right?
Just
you
wanted
wanted
to
to say.
point
You've
out.
been wanting to say that
I
a
need my
long
power
time.
back.
Yeah.
I need my power back. All right.
Get out of here.
Protect you from Patricia. Okay,
Exactly.
well, so much for Guess What, and let's start Guess Word with
Yep.
Marius Serra. So Marius, can you please remind us the clue for last week's puzzle?
It was quite tricky because it was the slender part of Mom's brother's leg. So you have to think about Mom's brothers first, which is
Okay.
your
Uncle.
and then thinking about the ankle, which are a part of your leg. they are written differently, but they are pronounced very similar. An uncle and uncle with A and Q. Okay?
All right, so pronunciation indeed plays an important role in our
homophonical.
In our guess word.
That's it.
Exactly. What about next week?
Well, next week I think it's easier. Let's.
You think?
Let's hope so.
I think.
You think? We would think the same for sure.
Interval of time that ends a sentence. 6 letters. Interval of time that ends a sentence. 6 letters.
Okay, interesting.
Tricky.
Interval of time that ends a sentence, 6 letters, which reminds me that you have an interval of a week to guess the word, although I suspect you'll crack this puzzle much faster. Well, post your solutions on our social media profiles as always. And until then, thank you, Marius, and thank you, Patricia. Of course, Sergi, thank you as well. I don't know if I should call you Caesar.
Sergio
Our
Cerberus.
Roman emperor.
Emperor
Thank
Sergio
you anyway
Cerberus.
for not burning down our set today.
My pleasure. You can count on me.
Today we'll meet Sabina and Nick, 2 horror movie fans who are getting married. What can be more terrifying? Don't miss Love in Translation.
He's a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist and producer from the UK based in Barcelona. His work has taken him to many venues and festivals around the world. We have here with us David Phillips. Welcome.
Thank you.
David, your style, they say, is quite versatile, like an infusion of blues, soul and Americana. So would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I play different styles of music with different bands, and I've been playing music since I was a kid, so different styles have influenced what I do. So at some point everything kind of seems to cross over and come together, depending on the mood or how I'm feeling.
We have here your latest album called Get Along, with these really beautiful drawings, which you make yourself in ink, all birds, right?
Yeah, that's right. Ever since I was a kid, I was always kind of an amateur ornithologist.
Okay.
and so maybe like the past 5 years, I started getting into artwork, drawing, and so the two things kind of came together, and I draw birds. That's like kind of my hobby.
All right. And tell us about the album. What is the music like?
The music, again, it's a kind of a mix of things. There's some stuff that tends to work towards pop a little bit, acoustic pop maybe, but there's always blues kind of running through it, and the voice always has a kind of a soulish vibe to it, because it's just the way my voice comes out when I sing. But yeah, it's definitely my most positive record. The other records have maybe had themes slightly more, I don't know, depressing. This is a little more happy.
So, we've got your guitar here today. Should I call it a guitar? It's very special, looks very special.
It's a guitar, yeah, it's a cigar box guitar. So.
Okay, let's show it to the camera. It's a cigar box guitar, and it comes from?
It was made in the US by a guy over there called Chris Weekly, who's made me a couple now. This one has been on tour with me quite a lot, and you can see it's kind of beaten up. And I have another one in Holland, because I work a lot in Holland, that stays at my manager's house, which is exactly the same.
And why cigar boxes? Why this guitar? Well, it makes a special sound?
Yeah, it makes a special kind of sound. It sounds kind of different to a normal guitar. And yeah, it's very kind of, a lot of traditional blues has been played on cigar boxes back in the day when blues artists couldn't afford like a normal guitar. They made guitars from oil cans or from anything they could find that was a box.
It was great, very original. What about gigs this year, this summer?
Yeah.
Where can we actually go and listen to your music?
Yeah, there's plenty of gigs here in Barcelona, small venues like places like Jamboree or Campari Milano, those kind of places. And also, I mean, there's always the little restaurant gigs and stuff that are around and things like that. And then September I do a tour of Europe, which is Holland, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, around there. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff happening, and with other bands too. As a guitar player, I work with other artists, other singers as a guitar player.
Okay, and today you're going to play?
Yeah, I'm going to play a song called...
It's from this album?
It kind of from this album. It's because I brought this guitar with me, so I'm going to do a version of a song from this album, but that doesn't sound like the version on this album. It's something special for you guys.
Okay. And it's called?
It's called Nowhere.
Nowhere. And it's about?
It's about...
nowhere.
It's kind of...
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's about trying to get somewhere and ending up stuck nowhere. It's kind of metaphorical for trying to kind of succeed at what you do in life and not quite getting there. It's a happy album, but it's not a happy song.
Well, never mind. I'm sure we'll enjoy it very much.
Yeah.
David Phillips, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And good luck
Thank
with
you.
all your gigs.
Cheers.
An American, an Irish and an Englishman walk into a market. It's not a joke, it's today's Here and There section. Don't miss it!
And while David is getting ready to perform on our stage, we invite you to have a look at our Love in Translation section. We are going to meet a couple who are fans of horror movies. Actually, they enjoy horror movies so much that they are going to get married this year in September on Friday the 13th, of course. They are Sabina from Barcelona and Nick from England. Don't miss their video.
Hello, my name is Sabina. I'm Catalan.
I'm Mike. I was born in the UK. I've been living with Sabina for just over 3 years now, and we're very happy here in Barcelona.
All right.
Yeah. We met on Friday the 13th, and it was at a horror film festival, and I'd arranged a meet-up for a little horror group that I got together, and we met there, didn't we, babe?
Yeah, because we are horror film fans, and we've been to Sitges a lot for the film festival, and Friday the 13th is our lucky. The 13th is our lucky number.
Yeah, in fact, we're getting married on Friday the 13th as well. Well,
I think it was you, but Mike said it was me.
Well, we had our first kiss about almost exactly a month later in the Rambla de Raval. Really, really romantic, wasn't it? It was like, I think we were both very drunk.
Well, we had a few drinks.
Yeah.
We've been to La Filmoteca to watch 2 zombie movies. And after that, we went to have a few drinks and we got quite happy.
Yeah.
And we kissed.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who took the first step, honestly.
It's a cloudy but happy memory. Let me put it like that, yeah. Less sort of prohibitions about personal space. So people sort of like standing right in front of you, and people like just pushing you out of the way on the metro. I mean, you just get knifed in London if that, you know, somebody would take a gun out and shoot you through the head for that. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do, you know, invading somebody's personal space.
For me, since I'm living with Mike, I got used to have a big meal in the evening and quite early.
Yeah.
Before I used to have dinner at maybe 9 or 10.
I can't wait until
really late.
So, I really like cagatillo. We do that at Christmas. You know, little things like that, and I like going to the kind of cultural stuff as well. You know, the Correfoc and all those sorts of things. That's all very cool. Well, I mean, there are things that I just find a bit sort of pesado, like the sardana. Sorry about that.
So sorry, I cannot think about something I wouldn't. Well, Marmite, which is disgusting.
It's a kind of yeast extract. If you're
it's the weirdest thing ever. It's kind of a brown sauce. You put it on bread, but it smells like damp.
Yeah, really nice on toast.
Disgusting.
Honestly. How long have I got? Because this is a list. Okay, so.
But.
Oh no, I got.
Yes, well, the problem is that I have lots of destinations I would like to go. Really, I have a long list.
I don't know. I don't know if this is particularly. Well, I'm not guilty about it.
Yeah, I know, but something.
Okay, do you want?
An obsession. Yeah. She's an as well.
That's not a
Politics.
guilty pleasure. It's like it's the only thing I talk about.
Yeah, that's why. Really?
Yeah, don't you remember? I said something like, you know what, the problem with you is you're really easy to fall in love with. And you said, what do you think, you said like, you idiot, what do you think I mean when I say I'm crazy about you?
Yes.
Because she's always saying, I'm crazy about you, I'm crazy about you.
Because
she didn't actually use the L word at that point.
Yeah, I was afraid to say, of course.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, I love you. That's why I was saying I'm crazy about you. I adore you.
Yeah.
So, in a way, it was a sneaky way to say I love you. But,
I'm out from nowhere. I don't know which way to go. Yes, I'm out from nowhere. I don't know which way to go. Yeah, and even if I get there, ain't no one there I know. Oh, no, there ain't no place I wanna spend too much time. Oh, nowhere ain't no place, yeah, I wanna spend too much time. But it's on the way to somewhere, there ain't no way to pass it by. So I'm on my way to nowhere, ain't no stops along the way. Yes, I'm on my way to nowhere, ain't no stops along the way. Oh, I'm trying to get to somewhere, but maybe nowhere's where I'll stay. Yes, I'm trying to get to somewhere, but maybe where's nowhere I'll stay. Yes, I'm trying to get to somewhere, but maybe nowhere's where I'll stay.
Welcome back. Today's last language tip is dedicated to pronunciation, or maybe I should say mispronunciation. Tim Guinea from International House Barcelona is going to show you ways to deal with silent letters. Watch and listen to the following language tip.
Hi there. Today we're tackling some more pronunciation and silent letters, which are always very difficult because you don't know if they're silent until you make a mistake. So, can you read this word on the screen? If you said vegetables with 3 syllables, you were correct. Of course, it looks like there are 4, but that second E is actually silent, so it's vegetables. And to help you remember, sometimes in English we say fruit and veg as a shortened version of vegetables. Another very common word, it's quite tricky, is this one on the screen, comfortable. Comfortable. Again, we don't pronounce this second O and the R there, and it just turns into comfortable. And now I'll take you through a group of words that have one silent letter in common. So let's start with groups with T that are silent. So we've got common words like castle, the T is silent. Also Christmas. We've got often, which is a word you'll have to say quite often and hear quite often, but the T is silent. And you'll probably hear from your teacher or from somebody else too, listen. Listen, the T, you don't pronounce it. Another group which has quite a few silent letters is groups with the silent W. So we've got the word answer. We also have a sword, which is what a knight might use to fight. And we've got the word whole, which means complete, which is quite tricky because it's pronounced the same as whole. We've got a little hole here without the W. And we've got words with a silent B. So they're words that things like bomb, or doubt, or debt, and lamb. So it's quite tricky, but it's actually it's easier not to pronounce the B in those cases. Well, that's just the beginning of silent words. There's so many more out there in English. So if you have any doubts, I'm sure if you listen often enough, you'll hear the answer. And that's it from me. Until next time, I'll see you.
Important aspect of circus is the direct contact between the artist and the audience. Marketplaces are a bit like circus, a sort of trade based on the personal relationship between customers and sellers. What are markets like in different countries and cultures? Let's discuss it with a new collaborator, Adina Levin from the United States, and of course our usual collaborators, Matthew Tree and Mark Broderick. Welcome everybody. Adina, where do you come from in the States?
Well, I was born in Chicago, born and raised.
Okay.
And then I went to New York for university, and I stayed there for 11 years. And then I came here a year ago.
A year ago. That's great. All right. Welcome. Well, today we talk about circus and markets. So, do you usually go and buy your food in local markets?
I used to.
You used to?
Yeah.
Not anymore?
But now I moved to the district of Nou Barris in Barcelona, and the market is just a little too far away, so I only go there if I have to do something, if I have to cook something a little special, because you can get anything in the market. Stuff they don't have in supermarkets.
I see.
It's not that big now, Barry's. How far do you have to walk, as a matter of interest?
He walks a lot, Matthew.
I know, he said once that he walks a lot, so why wouldn't you walk to the market? I'm sure nobody's is not that big, Matthew. Come on.
Well, not every bloody day, Mark. You know what I mean? I mean, only when I really need to.
I had to pick the fault in that one. I had to pick the fault in that one.
What about yourself, Mr. Broderick?
I used to, like himself, I used to, when I lived in the mountains in Moya, I used to go to the market every Sunday. They had a beautiful market in the town square every Sunday, which was awesome because, you know, it's always sunny and the weather's always good here, so you can buy the local produce, kilometer zero, etc. But now that I live in Barcelona, sometimes I like to try the different markets. Like I used to, obviously, the first one I had contact was with the Boqueria, the big one in Barcelona, but then the one in Hostafrancs or the different parts of the city. I do from time to time. I enjoy maybe once a month or so at this stage, but not as often as I did.
It's good.
Yeah,
not bad.
I love it.
Me neither. I don't go there as much as I should, but my really good friends in Mataró, They go every single Saturday. That's like the only place they do their grocery shopping.
I must say, so do I. I love going to the market. But anyway, let's talk about markets. How different are markets in the UK, in Ireland, or the US from Catalonia?
Ladies first, US, go for it.
Well, in the US, I think there's little to no comparison because growing up in Chicago, I don't think I ever went to an open air market. It's also really cold there half of the year. But in New York, where I lived for a long time, I would go to Chelsea Market, which is not a market like you would think. A lot of tourists go there thinking it's going to be a great market and it's a bunch of shops. Or I would pass through Union Square and go to what we call a farmer's market, which is super expensive. It's like $5 for a pack of strawberries here that are like €2. And then during Christmas, we have Christmas markets where they have holiday foods and gifts, which are great for, obviously for the holidays and unique gifts, but that's about it. So that's why I love living here.
Okay, Matthew.
No, there's a huge, huge difference. I mean, what I like about the markets here is they're places where people go shopping the way people go shopping in supermarkets in England. Like they go there just to buy their food every day or every week, whatever. And it's like a normal place. They have restaurants, they have bars kind of shoehorned in between the different stalls so you can have a drink. There was a period when I used to go often to the markets and always had a drink, you know, when buying your food or two. And so they're like nice social places and very practical places. You can get everything. There's a variety of prices and so forth. The markets that now exist in London, for example, are a little bit like what Adina was saying. They are really like snobbish little places that normally appear every Saturday in different areas of London or outside London. They're sometimes put in these kind of refurbished market settings where they've made them really look very beautiful, very expensive, and everything is like, you know, bespoke Cornish pasties, which cost a fortune. Bespoke is...
Sorry, yeah, you caught me there. What's that?
Bespoke is a word that comes from tailoring. A bespoke suit is a tailor-made suit.
Okay.
But now they use it in these markets to describe food they've made themselves.
Don't they have like an etiquette for these markets as well?
Yes, it's so horribly snobbish.
Yeah.
It's horrible, you know.
And
a
not
bespoke
very
Cornish
accessible,
pasty,
no,
and
in
not very
terms of
accessible.
money, yeah.
And when you go there, you get the feeling that you're half paying for the food and half paying for these special surroundings. So,
I see.
I guess in Ireland we have something similar, like he was talking about there. We have these like snobbish upmarket markets. But I remember in Galway we used to have one every single Saturday morning, which was great. It was quite diverse as well. Even 20, 30 years ago when I was growing up, they had like an old Dutch couple or an old Belgian couple that lived in the mountains, and they would come down and make soups and things like that, because it was kind of raining and windy a lot. So it was quite homely. All of the stalls would all be packed together, and they would sell like the local produce, of course, like potatoes, carrots, etc. The usual, you know, gatherings from gardens. But because my father has a garden, we never really went. We just took it directly from the garden. But they did. I remember that they had a lot of fish products because we're beside the sea. And but now, the last time I went, it's changed completely. Like as you said, it's become a little bit more upmarket. There's a certain etiquette that you must adhere to when you deal with these people. Now, they have lots of handcrafted stuff, wooden crafted things, exorbitantly priced woolen products from the Aran Islands, you know, like it's ridiculous. And the other place I lived in Canada were amazing, actually. Some of the best markets I ever had were in Canada. In Montreal, they have one called Jean Talon, which is a huge one in the middle of the city. And actually, it was quite accessible, not compared to the ones in New York where you said it was like $5, but it was more accessible in the sense of like financially for the local people. I loved it. Really wide variety of fruit and vegetables, and the tit for tat and the haggling and stuff was awesome. But the ones in Ireland, they've changed.
So we could say in conclusion that nothing beats the markets here, no?
No. It's funny you mentioned when you were growing up, because when I was growing up about 150 years ago,
I'm glad you recognized it.
We happened to live near one of the very last genuine open street markets in London, and it was about maybe a maximum of 8 stalls, and they sold fresh fish, fresh vegetables, meat, and toys. There was a toy stall as well, and everything was at normal prices, and people used to shop there normally. And that disappeared about 30 years ago, completely. Yeah.
Quite a long time. Mark, this week you visited a market. Where?
I did. It was the biggest one I could find on a Sunday, as you will see. Actually, it was just between it was in a park called Torreblanca, and it was well, you'll see. I'll introduce it from the video itself, the 3 different towns that it's joining. But it was a farmers market. Okay.
Okay.
Have a look.
Let's have a look.
Thanks to a bigger travel budget in this week's Here and There, I've been sent to Egypt. Thanks, Marcella and Matthew. It's not really Egypt. In fact, we're here in the confluence of 3 major cities in the Baix Llobregat. Over here we have Sant Feliu de Llobregat. Over here, Danny, we have Sant Just Desvern. And finally, come with me. Whoop. Photobombed. And here we are in Sant Joan d'Espí at the biggest farmers market I could find. Luckily, I'm very creative and I'm sure we can find something else to buy and sell. What's the strangest or most unusual thing that you've ever bought or seen in a market?
Myanmar, the way they keep the fish with all the flies around was kind of shocking.
In Thailand, it was frogs, insects, all kind of animals.
You sell anacondas in the markets in Brazil?
No, no, we don't.
Maybe something you are not used to see here is typical food from the south of Italy.
Such as?
Calabrian butifarra, sweeter than the Catalan one.
So the Italian sausage is sweeter than the Catalan one?
Yes.
Sorry, Danny. What's the strangest thing that you have ever bought?
Oh, Laia, what kind
Your wife?
No.
Oh, okay. I asked you a question, you said Laia. I was like, you bought your wife in Thailand?
No, I didn't.
Well, luckily he didn't mention a price.
No, I think he misunderstood me at the beginning. Like sometimes when I speak to people on the street, it happens that maybe I get really hyper and really excited and I ask them a question and I don't think they quite understand what the question implicates sometimes. I do it on purpose as well because that's when you get the funniest answers from people. But the poor guy, he retracted his statement then and obviously he didn't buy his wife in a Thai market.
All right. So when you go to a market, what attracts you most? The atmosphere, the people, the products?
I think the colors, first of all. I love when I look at, whenever I take people who are visiting into town and we're visiting town, I take them to Boqueria and it's just an explosion of colors. Same thing in Santa Catarina. I love the people, but I think, and this is not just food markets, but markets in general, what I love is the surprise element. So for example, like 2 years ago, I went to Mercat dels Encants with all the antiques and I found a Catalan dictionary from 1932. And so I just love, you never know, you come obviously if you need to get stuff for dinner, right? You know, well, I need tomatoes, I need whatever. But sometimes you see something and you're like, oh, I need that, and you're like, oh, but do I really need that? And then of course the seller is like, oh, but it's so special and unique. And you're like, okay, how much? And then they give you a price and you're like, what about, could you do it for 10? 10's really expensive for here, actually. But anyway, I love coming
Depending on what you're buying. I mean, 10 euros is cheap
for a
or
wife,
expensive.
Right?
There you go.
Anyway, I love that about markets. It's
surprise
and spontaneous.
Yeah, I really like the weekly markets. You know, that come, they're farmers markets, aren't they, in English? You would
I
say
think they're
that
called
more,
like farmers markets, exactly, yeah. Everything is craft and...
Because only the ones here are quite normal. You know, if you want to buy cheap clothes, you wait to market day in Banyoles, which is every Wednesday, and there are 2 main squares in Banyoles, and one square is full of cheap clothes, and it's full of people, it's bustling would be the word, you know, lots of people talking, meeting each other, buying stuff, and then in the other square it's all food. And a lot of it is food that comes in from other parts of Catalonia or from all over, so you see all this stuff, all this food that normally you never see. And I just find just walking around, it's a bit like what you said, you know, with the colors and the different types of food is fabulous. But I
Yes,
never found
it
a
is indeed.
Catalan dictionary from 1932. That's quite something.
It was. I ended up, since I couldn't bring it here, it was really heavy. There were 2 volumes. I ended up giving it to my Catalan teacher before I left New York.
Okay.
Okay, Mark?
The food and all that is wonderful and it's beautiful and there's colors and all that, but what really fascinates me here is like the alternative markets, you know, like there's a lot of these like stalls that are set up with, I don't know, women selling these weird potions, and I call them potions, but they're not really. They're probably like essence oils.
Tinctures.
Tinctures. Yeah, I don't know what they are. Like they solve everything, you know, like I have a sore throat. Okay, you have this. It's like, we don't have this one in Ireland, which I find is quite funny. And the ones with the clothes, and all of the clothes have the same leopard print. I think it was in Mataró I was in for one of the reports, and it was something that stood out in my mind that we don't have that in Ireland. Kind of this idea of cheaper clothes kind of thing, and I love the guys shouting on the streets, €1, €1, everything €1. Like in Ireland, nobody shouts at you. Everybody waits behind the stall, you know, patiently waiting for you to come and actually buy something. Here they like harass you, you know, like they're like shouting at you, hey, come here, look, I have a pair of knickers, they're €1, or I have a pair of socks, and you're like, no, dude, I don't need these things. I just like their enthusiasm. I think their enthusiasm is quite, you know, infectious, and it makes for an awesome experience.
So, did they convince you to buy anything at the San Juan d'Espí market?
Yeah, I had a couple of euros in my pocket. My pocket. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I go with my card, but obviously in the markets these days, I think you can pay with card in the markets these days. But I usually carry a couple of euros.
It
if I go
depends,
to the
yeah,
markets.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So,
curious
that's
to
it.
find out
Oh,
what you
yeah.
bought.
120. Good start. I got myself some baby cabbage. People say I'm a little bit of a blather. I've got €5, okay? That's good for me. I want you to really sell me something that you're wearing or something on you right now, including that haircut.
My haircut? You like my haircut?
You can sell me something like your sense of humor. I don't know, is it worth €5 or not? Or something, I don't know.
I'm German, so we don't have any humor. That's you. The Irish have all the humor.
Your Brazilian sexiness.
Oh.
Is it worth €10?
No, definitely not. Way more than that. Come on.
Sell me something Brazilian then. That's only worth €10.
We are not very straight to the point, you know, and that's something that.
And go around and around before
you say something.
That took you about 5 minutes, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that for €10. Thank you very much for not getting to the point.
Thank you.
I could sell my used underwear.
Will there be skid marks on it?
Say probably, of course. They're good.
Do you have anything that you could sell?
Hair. There's a big industry dedicated to for people that they need hair.
I can give you a kiss on your cheek for €2.
Sold. Okay, sold. I think I can go. Yes. Everybody's been selling me physical things. Okay.
Okay.
I want to buy one of your attributes.
Okay.
Okay, but I only have €5.
My dignity. My dignity. Yeah. Because I'm here making this interview with my English, so it's the
€5.
The easier to sell for me.
€5 for your dignity.
Oh, 3.
€3 and I have this man's dignity. I
Yeah,
love it. I
yeah.
love it. Brilliant.
You had it.
€3 for his dignity. That's
Yeah,
not much.
I'm sure he would have given it to me for free at that stage. The poor guy, I put him under an awful lot of pressure to give me some silly answers. So yeah, it was good.
Which quality of yours would you sell for €5?
My hyperactivity. If I could get rid of it, I would. I'm super hyper. As you see, whenever I'm sitting here, I'm always like this way. So I'd like to be a little bit more chilled in life.
That too is
€5, would you take my hyperactivity away from me?
I'm sitting next to you and I already have it a little bit.
It's contagious. The children I teach when I'm in the classroom, honestly, like I'm in the classroom and I'm moving from place to place, and it actually affects the kids, and they're all like, Mark, relax. So yeah, my hyperactivity, yeah, for sure.
Anyway, how have markets evolved? Nowadays, you see more and more stalls where they serve food, for example. So, do you have that the same in Ireland, the UK, or in the US?
Well, like I said, we don't really have much of markets, but I do see these restaurants popping up. I am always concerned that somebody is going to steal my wallet or my purse. So I try and go to markets with my agenda, with what I need and really close to me, and leave. But I think what would be a really cool idea though for markets is like I said, you never know what you're going to find, right? So what if we did a scavenger hunt in a market where if you bought like boulettes, like mushrooms from one person, and then you found, I don't know, fouette from another, and then you got a pineapple, and you had to put them in a photo on Instagram. And then,
like you said, you like surprises.
Exactly, surprise and delight.
Pleasant surprises, not unpleasant when they steal your wallet or something like that.
Exactly, not those kinds of surprises.
Mark?
Well, honestly, my first experience of like eating at markets was in Bangkok at these amazing street markets, no? And I remember being amazed, like I think it was about 11 years ago, and just watching everybody eating on the street, like and just all the food being cooked right in front of you, no? But I'd been to ones in China, for example, in Beijing. There's a market where you can eat everything from like scorpions to snakes to silkworms. And then I guess the most shocking one as regards food was when I went to Sulawesi, which is an island in Indonesia, and they have one called it's called the dark market. Okay, and it really is dark. Now, excuse everybody at home, all the animal lovers, but basically what happens in this market is they gather all the animals in, and you pick the animal alive, and they kill it in front of you, and they cut it, and it's quite honestly, it was one of the most harrowing experiences of my life to watch these people then just eating in the restaurants beside. So, you know.
What kind of animals?
Well, bats, dogs, rats, and anything that they could find from they were a very famous race of people. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head right now in Sulawesi, but they say that they ate everything but the table that had 4 legs was kind of like the expression they used. And it was quite harsh to watch. I cannot really criticize it. I just saw it as something interesting looking from the outside. Obviously, I didn't agree with it, but listen, every country has their things, you know? So.
That's for sure. What about England?
No, in fact, I was thinking of Dar es Salaam because I haven't travelled as much as you, but one of the trips I did do on my own was to Dar es Salaam, and there they have a market called a Kariaku market, which is like a city within the city. It's like a huge building. Something like maybe 4 times larger than the Bocaria in Barcelona, for example. And they've got everything there as well. But the curious thing is it's designed for people of different incomes. So, for example, if you want to buy rice, you can buy the really expensive kind going down to the cheapest kind, and it's all there, you know, for depending on how much money you have. That was an extraordinary, I think I spent almost the whole day in that market, yeah. And in England, you don't eat in the markets. You unless you buy a bespoke Cornish pasty at an outrageous price, you know, and then you can take it away and eat it.
You've paid that much for it, you should be able to do what you want.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Mark, what did you do at the market before leaving?
Well, I found out that the poorer the product is, the better the salesperson is. Have a look.
You work in human resources, right, as a psychologist. What kind of things do people use to sell themselves?
One guy that sold me his international experience because he had been to Rome for 5 days.
People lies all the time.
You work on applications, apps.
Yeah. There was this diamond app that was showing you a diamond, and it was like $1,000 the price, and was doing nothing else.
I work for a big company and marketing and selling pharmaceutical solutions for women to avoid being pregnant.
So you worked out well. You have 2 of them, right?
It failed. The
product you sold is shit.
Didn't work.
Okay, very good. You're a gynecologist and you married a guy who deals with... Hold on a minute. Did you guys meet while he was working? He sold you more than products.
More than pills, yeah.
Okay, so...
I don't prescribe your pill, but you invite me to have a dinner?
Okay, you're a very convincing gynecologist.
Wow, Mark, it seems that you found like the best salesperson in that market, no?
Absolutely. She could have sold me anything. She managed to sell it to her husband, so well.
There is a bit of everything, no?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, what do you think about medieval markets? Do you enjoy visiting them? there are more, no? Things like that, especially at the weekend in towns and villages all around Catalonia, medieval markets.
Yes, they're a perfect curse. There used to be just 2 or 3 places that had medieval markets, and now they've kind of spread all over Catalonia, you know, like a kind of infection. And they really are. Oh God!
Why don't you stand them?
I cannot stand them. I cannot stand them.
I think that's pretty obvious.
Like you walk around them, and it's like all these people who've just put a pseudo-medieval tunic over their jeans, you know, and they're standing there in their jeans with this medieval tunic and a sort of floppy hat on their head, selling you something that you can buy in any supermarket normally.
I managed to find some swords. I don't know how old they were when I went to the Mercat Medieval in Vic, and it was my first time at a medieval market, at least here in Catalonia, because there's a restaurant in the States called Medieval Times, usually in the suburbs, and everybody dresses up, and that is total pageantry. But it too it's very fake, and so you go there for the experience. Whereas the market medieval, the medieval ones, I think you go for a little bit of a normal market infused with an idea of medieval times. But there are a lot of people, and I'm glad I went once. Probably won't go again. But I did love the mulled wine, the Vicalen. Oh, so good, especially when it's a little cold out.
Okay, Mark, so come on, surprise us.
Yes.
I know that you've come prepared today.
I've gathered a couple of things that over the years that I have bought in markets, okay? And I'm going to give you a price. I'm going to see, can I sell it back to somebody? Because really, they're kind of
us,
like, they're taking up room in my home. So I figured, like, I'll bring them today. We'll set up a mini weekly mag market, and I'll bring out my best sales pitch, okay? So the first item I bought in a market in Marrakesh in the Medina, okay? And as you can see, the craftsmanship is quite spectacular, okay? You can see like the grooves where the craftsman. I reckon he spent about 6 to 8 months building this. And this tree, I think, is actually an argan tree where you get argan oil from. So it's worth quite a lot.
Wow,
I would say it's about 150 euros. What do you think, Matthew?
I think it's about as Moroccan as I am, Mark, to be honest. It's obviously from sub-Saharan Africa, and I suspect that in certain African countries you can go to markets precisely where they have about 50 of these things, you know, laid out. So 150 euros.
Come on. I put in my best sales pitch. Maybe I wasn't in the right country, but I was getting there. I was close by. What do you think? How much do you think it's actually worth then? Just give it. How much would you bid for that in a market? If you were in sub-Saharan Africa, bidding for this, or South Africa, what would you pay for this?
Start low.
Start low. Go on.
3.
3 euros.
5.
5. This is it's 150 we started. This is not how you negotiate.
That's your 150.
Okay.
That's my 3.
3, 5. Matthew, come on, you can do better than these two, please.
Okay, 12 euros 50 cents.
12 euros 50 cents, Matthew. Sold to Matthew Tree. Well done, Matthew. It was actually 12 euros. Well done.
Oh, wow.
There you go. You nearly nailed it. And I got 50 cents off you as well. So there we go. I won 50 cents on that one. Okay, awesome. Next
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Now, right, the next one, I went to the Mercat Medieval of Vic.
Nice.
And this is obviously from the 13th century, like
Of
those
course.
pasties
Yeah.
that we talked about before. And this,
Wait, did you say pasties or pastries?
Pasties? Pastries?
Well,
don't
I
know
say
what
pasties.
He says
Cornish
pasties, and we say
pasties.
pasties, and you say pastries. It's the difference in the language. England,
That's 'cause
Ireland, and
America.
Chicago.
Because
the
pasties are
barrier
a
of the
totally
common
different thing.
language.
Pasties are a totally different thing in the States, no? Pastries? I don't know. So this one is.
You can look it up.
I will look it up afterwards. So this is a 13th century mortar and pestle. Okay. As you can see, the age of the wood is at the bottom. You see these lines on the wood, yeah? And I use it for making alioli. Okay. Now I'll start the bidding at about 65 euros.
Well, if it comes from a medieval market, I'm not buying it. So I'm out of the game. Just, you know.
Come on, Matthew, it looks so good in your house in
Marcella and
Bagnolas.
Ardina, you can go
Look at this original design,
Mark,
this beautiful
I would
original
certainly
design.
buy
May I?
it,
May I
but
Yes,
I
of
have one
course.
at home.
You have one at home?
Yeah, I already
Adina,
have
it's up
one
to you.
or two at home.
Along with your
probably.
Catalan dictionary from the 1930s, allegedly. What do you think?
Well, I paid 10 for that, so I'll say 10 here.
10?
It weighs a lot.
Yeah, you won't be able to bring that back to Chicago if you ever go back.
I'm not going back.
You're not going back? You know what? For 10 euros, I think I'll accept your build.
Yeah?
It's all yours for 10 euros, and the actual price was 10 euros. So well done.
Oh.
Well done. Excellent. Say, both of you are doing very well. And the last one. Now, remember last week there was a little bit of a wardrobe slip up in my behalf, and you could see a little bit of my belly. I don't know if any of you watched it last week, so I decided
I missed that.
They missed that.
Yeah.
So I decided to buy these for myself, but they're a little bit big. I was thinking.
What is that?
Granny panties.
Exactly. They're basically like they keep my stomach in when I'm on the weekly mag, you know, and they keep everything in so that people don't, you know, get. So I'll start the bidding at 30 euros for these. They've only been worn once.
Skid marks?
No, because I wore underwear underneath them, so it didn't touch anything, okay? So I start the bidding at 30 euros. 30 euros for once used pants for Mark. What do you think? 30 euros.
If they were used, no way.
Come on, they were used by me.
Hey, he got to get out of last round, so I'm gonna dip out of this
Go on,
one.
Marcella, how much would you pay?
Nothing.
Nothing. Matthew,
Not
come on.
interested.
No.
Well, I'm thinking of resale here. Maybe, I don't know.
Resale, how much would I get?
No, if I give you 20 cents, maybe I could flog them for €1.
You're thinking you're doing business off my used underwear. Okay, and you, how much would you give for if you were pushed on a price?
Oh, €1.
€1?
Maybe €2.
2 euros. Well, in fact, I got undercut on this one, but I made a little bit of a 50-cent profit on the other ones. They were actually €4.50, but if they were used, I'd knock 50 cents off. €4 and they're yours. So there you go.
Well done.
Little bit of a mini weekly mag market.
Well, not sure if you know how to make money. I think
as you can see, it's not my forte. No, not at all.
I don't think we bought your ideas, at least.
I tried.
Your presentations.
I tried
But
my best.
Yeah, it was a nice try.
Tried my best.
Anyway, thank you so much.
No problem.
Until next time.
Yes.
Thank you, Adina.
Thank you for having me.
Matthew.
You're welcome.
Here ends the Here and There section and today's show as well. Catch up with all the episodes and the sections of the Weekly Mag online and follow us on the social networks. And don't forget to post the solution to the guess word puzzle by Marius Serra, which is an interval of time that ends a sentence 6 letters. Well, have a nice week and keep your English up and running.
Yes, I'm on my way to nowhere. Ain't no stops along the way. Oh, I'm trying to get to somewhere, but maybe nowhere's where I'll stay. Yes, I'm trying to get to somewhere, but maybe where's nowhere I'll stay. Yes, I'm trying to get to somewhere, but maybe nowhere's where I'll stay.